Oh, darn, I've done it again. Welcome back to another video. And I've just finished the second round of my warm up. So I've got one more round to go. But guess what happened? Guess who we had a visit from? Yes, the one and only Big O came to our school. They called on Tuesday. Took a deep breath because I was in class in year 6, just about to go through some reading comprehension. Took a deep breath, called the Senko, asked us to take over, and then the frivolities began. But I need to get this warm up done first, and then I need to get into this week's deadlift exercises, which are 4 sets of 4 50 kg barbell paused sumo deadlifts. So there's a lot to fit into, a lot to get my tongue around. But once I've done 2 rounds, I will come back and give you some snippets of my experience with Ofsted. One thing I will say, I was a lot more relaxed this time round. I don't know if it's because I was more prepared. I don't know if it's because I knew exactly what to expect, because my friend's school had just had it the week before, so she was able to give me the lowdown. Or the week before, 2 weeks before, someone else I knew had it the week before that, both won elementary schools. So that might have been part of it, but also I think because I was over it by that point. So it's like, yeah, finally you are here and we got it done, people. We got it done, but I will see you when I get round to my 50k paused sumo deadlifts. I was in 2 minds whether I was going to make it to do this session today, because on Tuesday I woke up and I had a bit of a sniffle when I woke up. And I thought, why is this? And then by Thursday it had turned into a fully blown cold, which obviously when you got Ofsted in, colds don't count because you just got to get the work done. So just had to arm myself with loads of tissues, and to be fair, I was fine. Do you know what I mean? I didn't feel particularly unwell. Yesterday I was feeling a bit, but I still had stuff to do because I had to go and do some work, some studying for my PhD, because there was a section for a 2,000 word section that I wanted to hand in, so I had to get that done. So yeah, it's just one of those things where you kind of like move on to the next thing, because I got work to do. I got things to do. But I tell you what was a blessing. I finished off my diploma in psychotherapy case study, and I got that handed in. So that's one less thing off my brain. And I'd already planned that this methodology part of my PhD that I was preparing for, I'd already planned that I was going to spend all day Saturday working on it anyway, because I got a lot of it done. So to be fair, having Ofsted in between didn't really impact on the study side of things, which is just as well. Because if it had, that would have really ticked me off. Because it's like, now you're really getting in the way of my life. But it didn't. On the Tuesday, because we got the call on Tuesday, and I left school at 7 o'clock on the Tuesday, went home, I took some stuff to read with me at home. Didn't bother reading it, to be fair, because you know, it's one of those things, I'd already given a lot of my life to this, and for me it's like, you know what, if I'm not ready now, then I never will be. So we made sure that I'd already had, as a lot of people probably do have, a sheet that's like what to do when the call comes in. First of all, do not panic. And that had a list of who needs to be emailed, what the premises manager had to do, what the admin staff had to do, you know, meetings that were going to take place. So this person does this meeting with the children, this person then takes the staff, find out who's getting pizza, who wants pizza, find out which governors are available, let the governors know. So like, as soon as that call came in, because the call came in at, I said I was going to do this when I started my deadlifts, but I've started now. So the call came in, must have been about a 9:40 something, and obviously I was in class. And so I said, oh, tell them to phone back in 5 minutes, basically, because I was doing stuff. I went downstairs and they said I'd phone back at 10 o'clock. In that time period, Obviously, it was a case of, yes, they're not just calling to say, hi, how you doing? Just checking in on you. This was, we are coming. So therefore, Operation Send Out the Emails began. Then all the people that needed to be told were informed. And I was getting lovely text messages back of encouragement. And yeah, we just put the action plan into place. When they phoned back at 10 o'clock, she asked me what time I wanted the longer call for and said it was going to be about 90 minutes. And so it was like, yeah, we'll have it at 11 o'clock, get it out of the way. And she was the one that said, you know, some people want it at this time, so they've got time in the afternoon to just then gather staff round, let everyone know. So we decided, yeah, we'll do it that way. So we made sure that all the relevant people were told. So by sort of 10 o'clock, everyone knew. And to be fair, by 10 o'clock, probably everyone in the authority knew, because all the other head teachers were at something called Heads Partnership. I've intentionally decided not to go to Heads Partnership on Tuesday, just because I thought, you know what, I want to be in school in case we get the call. That was a sound decision. And to be fair, I'm quite pleased with a lot of decisions that I made over those couple of days, because it just meant a lot less stress, a lot less faffing about, and it made the whole experience so much easier. I need to just deload this bar and then get ready for my 50 kg paused sumo deadlifts. So I'll be back in a bit. It's my first time doing these, so might be a bit ropey to start with. Okay, it felt alright. I don't know if it looked okay, but it felt okay. If there are some top tips that I would give to any leader about to go through Ofsted, it would be the importance of you remaining calm and showing that calm exterior. Because when you're calm, obviously, naturally, it just encourages everyone else to be calm. And I know that sounds like, yeah, well, yeah, obvious, but sometimes you don't realise how much your energy can impact on other people, and you don't realise how, if you are over anxious, or if you are kind of like, oh, this needs to get done, it really can impact on other people. And we talk about our nervous systems, you know, we talk about co-regulation, and if you're regulated, then you're going to help regulate others. And obviously there's a certain amount of regulation that is down to the individual, but when it comes down to you helping others to regulate, it really is about maintaining that calm composure. And I'm not going to go through the details of what the Ofsted inspection was like, but I will do when the report comes out, because there were a few things, as I've heard from colleagues, that are a bit frustrating. But I think the main thing for me, I found it a really beneficial experience, because it helped me to look at my school with very different eyes. And I think there was probably a lot more criticality that I looked at my school with, and focusing on the minutiae of the detail, which I don't think the old regime, for want of a better word, probably did focus on the minutiae, but this is the minutiae of minutiae, because you recognise that one of the key things from the new framework is you've got to tick every single bullet point. Now, thankfully, I had spent a long time, probably several months ago, to be fair, probably in February, I'd spent a really long time going through the expected bullet points and mapping out where I thought we were in relation to them. So it wasn't, I mean, I called it a CEF, I called it a detailed CEF, but it wasn't anything that I showed the inspectors. This was for my benefit, shared it with my leaders, shared it with the governors, so that we could see this is what we do to meet the expected criteria. And over the months, so March and April, I was continuing to add bits in. So, oh yeah, we do that as well. Oh yeah, we do that, because it really is evidence based. It really is about finding the evidence for each of those bullet points. One of my colleagues, a wonderful head teacher in a wonderful elementary school, when he gave me some feedback, he said, most importantly, make sure you've got a leader to go, senior leaders to go with every inspector. So I had myself with one, my deputy with the other, and my Senko with the other. And so when we were mapping out the timetable for the 2 days, we knew exactly who was going to be with whom. And there were some times when I also had a business manager. So my business manager came in to the conversation about attendance, because she supports with that. And then I had one of my early years teachers come in with me on the conversation regarding early years, because we at the current time we don't have an early years lead. And I thought, actually, she's the best person, because she lives and breathes it. She understands the journey that they've been on. She knows where they're supposed to be going. And although we've got a new lead starting in September, that's not where we are now. And we needed to really be clear on where we were now. So she was able to talk fantastically well to where we are now. My Senko, she I have to say this on camera, my Senko smashed it. She smashed it in the sense that she knew her stuff from before. So she does so much. She works 4 days a week. She is Senko for 2 days, and then she's in class for 2 days this year. She does such a fantastic job at making sure that everything is how it should be. So interventions are in place. There's a very clear timetable, making sure that there's so many interventions that happen to support our children. She makes sure that the children have got the right resources. So she's constantly kind of saying, okay, we need to buy this, we need to do this, we need to change this, we need to have this here. She knows the children. So even from the first day when we were picking the 6 children, and my tip, again, another tip here would be, and this came from, again, a colleague of mine who had the inspection. So I'd already had, from sort of January, February time, a list of all the children, whether they're pupil premium, SEN, or EAL, or if they'd been looked after. I already had that list done. You know what I mean? And we were tweaking it. We were kind of tweaking it. But one of the things that he suggested was to rag rate it. So I had those children that we had no concerns over, those children that there might be in terms of attainment, those children that we might have and we were kind of working with them, and those children that we were worried about. So we had that rag rating. So we were really clear in our head. By the time that Ofsted inspection came, we knew all 80 plus children on that list. And we're a wonderful elementary school. So we knew, maybe 80, is that a bit? Yeah, about 80. We knew all the children. And because we're a small school, we know all the children anyway. So any one of us could have said, yes, this is this child, this is what we know about this child, this is what we know about this child. But my Senko, she was able to say, yeah, this is this child, and we've got this, and this in place for them. Oh, this child, yeah, this. She was able to, and it literally, not, oh, let me have a think. It rolled off her tongue. When I tell you, I was sitting there like, okay, okay, girl. You know when you do that, you know what I mean? I was like, okay, yes, girl. She knew her stuff. And so now I said to my improvement partner, right, if there's anybody that wants any advice or any guidance in terms of, inclusion and SEN, please let me know, because my Senko, she's fantastic. She really is. So she was able to just express everything that we've done. We already did a lot of work on visuals policy. So we're implementing the local authority visuals policy. So we'd already started work on that. February half term, everybody had exactly the same visual timetable icons, because before everyone had a visual timetable, but there were slightly different variations in terms of the images. But as a staff team, we had a staff meeting on it as a whole staff team. Went through the whys and wherefores, and then one of the staff members, just bless her heart, just created loads of visuals so that every class had exactly the same thing. So there's that consistency throughout the whole school. They're implementing that, so we are kind of going through, but there's that consistency, and we already had that in place anyway. We were able to talk about our sensory room that we'd made out of a spare space. I mean, they commented on the spaces that we just utilise for interventions, for sensory circuits. We utilise every space, and we are a small school. But my Senko has just done so much work and did so much prep that it was just like, you know what, just knew our stuff. So when we were going round, it was really easy for us to say, yep, that's that child, that's what they have in place. Yeah, you can see that, we talked about that, yeah, there's evidence of that, yeah, evidence of that. It was all there. There was nothing that we had to do last minute. And that's one of the things I think it was so stress-free, because there was nothing that on the Tuesday, and this is why I think, again, staff were just able to go home at 6:30, 7 o'clock. And obviously some of them may have worked from home, but I know that they went home, which is fantastic, because the last thing I want is for anyone to be in school 8, 8:30, kind of feeling overwhelmed because they've got, they've got books to mark. As soon as that February date hit, because it's 4 years from the date your last Ofsted report was published or thereabouts. And so as soon as February, whatever date it was, I think it was February or January, we were like, right, we are now in the Ofsted window. And so we need to make sure that we've got this. And I kept saying to staff, but these are just reminders, because these are things that we should have in place anyway, because this is what we do for our children. So because it's about that high expectation, and it wasn't a case of trying to cobble things together at the last minute. It wasn't a case of trying to find a piece of paperwork or find something that we should have had but we didn't have. The only things that we needed to get on the day, something we needed to just print off, which a couple of things that we had on EduKey, which we couldn't print off until we knew which just case sampling children were. And then we just had to work out the persistent absence for SEN, and disadvantaged children. And then we had to also work out lateness, percentage of lateness for SEN or disadvantaged and SEN children. And because we've got a new system, so we moved over to Bromcom, that was probably the most stressful thing, because where we had Scholar Pack before, always on the front page you could see the percentage of lateness. With Bromcom we had to work it out. But again, it was like, once we had it, that was it. There's a couple more bits of evidence that I uploaded to the portal and sort of, gave them in the morning, but things that we already had. There was nothing that we had to think, oh, do we have that? We knew we had it all. We knew we had it all. So it just, we just pulled it out. And I think that's testament to how well we work together as a leadership team, because again, it's like, we were all usually my Senko works upstairs, SBM is somewhere else, but we were all in that room together, having those conversations, discussing what was happening, how things were going, and almost like within ourselves triangulating. And that, I think, helped us in terms of our stress levels, because it's just like we're just able to laugh things through, and just make the most of the experience. And I think it is daunting, because for me, when I started, it's like, oh, what am I going to say? And then it's just like, yeah, okay, this is the school, this is why we did this is what we have here, this is what we have here. And it really is, for me, it didn't feel like I was trying to justify, it just felt like I was showing off my school the same way I show off my school when other visitors come. So explaining, yeah, you'll notice in this class we have this and this is why, and you'll notice we have this and this is why. And one of the questions that one of the inspectors kept asking was, okay, and what is the impact of that? So the impact of any decision that we make needs to be really clear. And I think it's recognising that if you implement something, why? Why are you doing it, and does everybody know that that's why you've done it? And one thing that we can guarantee is that everything that we do and everything that we've done, all members of staff know why we've done it, and to the point where all governors understand, yeah, this is what we have in place, this is the impact it has. And so I was really pleased that we were able to showcase our school. There's a few things that we need to tweak, and a few things that we just need to sharpen, but nothing that I came away thinking, in fact there was one thing that I was like, but apart from that, it was just like, yeah, cool, we've done it. We're at the end. I was really proud of my staff, because as always, the staff are supportive anyway of each other, and they just came together like they usually do. So it really blessed me to see that just staff just do what they always do, and the children just be the children, the confident children. Children wanted to show the inspectors their one-handed cartwheels. We don't usually allow that. Children that wanted to sing to the inspectors, children that just enjoying having visitors in our school, and somebody different. And that's what's lovely, and it makes me so proud to be the head teacher of that school. And I think overall, my having done the old framework as a new head teacher, and the new framework as what I would consider now an experienced head teacher, the first one was stressful for a different reason for me, because it's my first one. This one I was more relaxed because I knew it was high stakes. I knew what other people had experienced. I was able to tweak things based on what other people had said, not to a great extent, to be fair, but I was kind of mentally, I was there, I was ready. It was like, yeah, let's get this done. And I think that's how staff felt. It's like, okay, we were really disappointed it didn't happen the week before because we were ready. And so I think for most of us, we knew we'd come back on that Tuesday. Thankfully, we knew that we would get a call on the Tuesday, so we were ready. And so when the call came, it was just like, but okay, this is what we were waiting for. Let's go. And it was just kind of letting everybody know, no, we're going to be okay. We've got this. We know what, and I think that's what I kept saying. We know what we're doing. It's going to be fine. We know what we are doing. because of the level of faith within the school. You know, for a lot of us, we are Christians, and that our faith undergirds that as staff. So the first thing we did was pray when we got together as a staff team. We prayed because we've got to underpin everything that we do in prayer. And someone wrote on the whiteboard in the staff room, "Don't stress, God is in control." And what more do you need? So for me, the experience was not stressful. It was a good experience. The inspectors kept checking in on us, asking how we were, asking each other how they were. We had a senior HMI come on the Thursday to quality assure, but we'd been told about that on the Wednesday morning when they came to the whole staff brief, and that was nice. Again, you know, I would encourage you, let the staff see the people that are coming. And I would imagine most leaders do that. Just come and introduce themselves. Then the staff know that for us, they weren't scary. They weren't scary people. They were very human. There were lots of opportunities for us to have a lot of light-hearted conversations, just general conversations, and it was human. And I think that's probably the word that I would put. It was human. And I know that it very much depends on the inspectors that you get, because some are just looking to find a reason not to give you a bullet point. I can believe that. And you know what? Kudos to those schools, because there's one school that posted their Nando's chart the other day, and they got exemplary. I keep calling it exemplary. They got exceptional in all the areas. I'm like, you know what? Fist pump. You know what I mean? Fist pump to you, because that's obviously sustained over a period of time, and good on you. You know what I mean? Good on you. And I always go to look at, excuse me, whenever I see that now, because I kind of have more of an understanding, the first thing that I'll look at is their level of SEN, the percentage of EHCP, and their attainment results, because it's like, okay, let me just check, let me just cross-reference. And I'm not taking away from anyone, but those things do make a difference. And so I would have high regard for a school who's the same context, you know, inner city, high area of deprivation, high level of SEN, high level of disadvantage, whose, you know, attainment is also above, because that's kind of what I want to work on next. Like, right, we've got these high levels of disadvantage, high levels of SEN, and how do we then map the two together? And obviously it's quality teaching, I know that, but it's kind of getting to the point where it's like, okay, let us drill down on what we need to be doing. And this year, we've started implementing a lot of changes that will make a big difference going down the line, but we're not there yet. So that's my Ofsted experience. If you've had Ofsted, leave a comment below. If you're waiting for Ofsted, feel free to ask me a question. If you are interested in my sumo, my paused sumo, oh, darn, I've done it again. Paused sumo deadlifts. Amanda, what is wrong with you? Okay, so I'm gonna have to go back again and do paused sumo deadlifts. I'm gonna have to go back and watch the video, for goodness sake. One day I'll get it right. Anyway, let me get these done and then move on to my bird dogs and my AMRAP. Okay. Sumo paused deadlifts. Someone on one of the videos said about taking out the slack. I didn't quite know what they meant until I just done it. And it's hearing that little bit of a sound before you actually lift it off the floor. So that person who said you need to take off the slack, thanks. But just remember, you can give feedback in a more encouraging way. But please do leave a comment below on what you think about me taking out the slack this time. At least I've remembered to do my bird dogs this time, because last week I forgot and I had to come back at the end. Alexa off. Thank you. One day there will be a session where I remember everything. One day. My coach definitely knows how to make sure I keep fit. Yeesh. 10 of these. I'm counting it. That's 4 rounds. Alexa off. Alexa off. So, everything done. Maybe a couple of things slightly out of order, but done. Ofsted done. Diploma in psychotherapeutic case study done. Ethics approval ticked. Methodology part 2,000 words ticked. Oh, I think this has been a very productive start to May. We're only on the 10th of May, so long may it continue. I hope you have a positive start to your week. Please remember to like, subscribe and share. Share if you know anyone who's about to have Ofsted and they might want to know what it was like. Feel free to get in contact with me. You can link up with me again on Instagram at mrswilson. That's the word ... And we can see more of this weightlifting malarkey and other random stuff that I post in my stories. See you next week. Oh, cracky. Shame tomorrow isn't a bank holiday Monday.